Good day, dear friend. Good day and welcome, patriot and sentry. And to give yourself, my new favorite word is being a sentry, somebody who walks the point, who walks the post, who kind of like I'm a security guard. I'm watching things. I'm watching what's going on. We have to figure out what we're trying to do here. It's very overwhelming. And the first thing I'm going to tell you today is you stick to your guns. You stick to your guns. I have been, I think, absolutely, positively, 100%, not even-handed, but I think rational and lucid regarding Israel. And I have said specifically, I'm an American. God bless him. Stop killing people. Stop. You want to call it genocide? Call it genocide. Call it annihilation, massacre. That's up to you. People are worried about little fine points. They're missing the point. So anyway, I've got one group of people who are upset with me somehow because I don't know what it is. You have to accept. Here's the Israeli story. Take it. This is a package deal. No substitutions. Take this. Don't fine tune anything. Oh, no. Then again, you have other folks. You have, I think, sometimes people who are most cognizant and aware, certainly, of what is happening regarding the horrors in Gaza, but they won't ever talk about Hamas. They just won't. It's like, well, that's, it's like, no. We got to, you have to understand. This is perceived as a terrorist organization. And what October the 7th was a terrorist it was an attack. Now you could say whether it was legitimate, whether it was warranted, but when you have groups of people non-state associated, this is by definition, this is terror or guerrilla. Do you like guerrilla? I love the fact that people are missing the point here. They're missing the point. And we're not going to miss the point. We're going to talk about what's happening. We're going to not be worried about these ridiculous, lunatic nonsense, this craziness about getting words right. Forget the words, understand the concept. So, my friends, here's what we're going to do. Number one, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe for reasons I do not understand. I have an itch. Did we get an itch right here? People are saying, I'm unsubscribed. I don't know why. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the channel. Make sure you like the video. There we go. And make sure you're always notified of live streams and new videos. And by the way, Lionel Nation members got a video coming up about my new my take on vigilantism. Another term that nobody understands. It's getting the terms correct, but missing the concept. Whether you call it assault, whether you call it battery, somebody still got hit. You can call it whatever you want. So, my friends, get ready, sit back. Thank you for joining us. Get ready. But first, before we begin this incredible world regarding identity theft, and by the way, another thing you can do, which people don't want to talk about, using VPNs to get deals for things like, I don't know, airline tickets and other things based upon where you say you are. Does that make sense? Listen carefully to this. Do you remember a while back, the world's most famous celebrities and billionaires were outraged because the internet used apps to stalk their flight routes of their private jets? Remember that? And with these apps, anyone could track the celebrities' flight routes nearly in real time. But new legislation by Congress, of course, has made that illegal, allowing the rich and famous to anonymize their jet flight and make it impossible to track them. Well, unfortunately, when regular citizens like you and me complain about our privacy, the government does nothing about it. That's why I protect my personal data with today's sponsor, Virtual Shield, and I absolutely love the security I get with them. Virtual Shield helps protect my private information, browsing history, and internet activity from cyber criminals, hackers, tech corporations, ISPs, and more. It only takes 2 clicks on my laptop or phone to protect me with their flagship tools like Virtual Shield's VPN, which features anonymous browsing, ad blocking, a strict no log policy, military grade encryption, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited devices, and much, much more. Thanks again to Virtual Shield for sponsoring Lionel Nation, and be sure to sign up by visiting virtualshield.com/Lionel, or simply click the link in the description below, because every sign up with that link gets you up to 67% off and a 60-day risk-free trial. Imagine in the old days trying to explain to folks that one day you're going to be having this thing called Wi-Fi, and one day you're going to be able just to have your stuff just connected. Remember when dial-up modems were great? I love to sit back. Remember the sound of the dial-up modem and AOL and a fax machine. Oh my God, a fax machine was, I remember them. I thought they were the greatest things ever. I love technology. I love to see how technology changes drastically. And I don't look back. I don't want to go back to it. But one of the things I appreciate is that as things change, you realize the essence of what we're doing. And by the way, one of the things that we're doing, which is very critical, is that more and more people are using fax machines versus regular Wi-Fi stuff because of the fact of theft and the like. So let's start off with a couple of things here. On a lighter note, shall we start off a little bit lighter? I always like to start off with just a little bit of something funny, sort of. When Joe Biden does his, they call it gibberish. We used to have these folks who I guess they were it's called gibberish. We used to have double talk, not double speak, but double talk. We had these great people. And one of my favorites was a fellow in the old days. His name was Stanley Unwin. Stanley Unwin was the oh my gosh, he was the inspiration, well, in many respects, for John Cleese and others. And he gave rise to this thing called double talk, which was just wonderful. And I think it's interesting to watch the beginning of their careers where they would be on shows and nobody would know who they were. And this is the inimitable, the ineffable, the one and the only, the Stanley Unwin piece. And I believe he's in Speaker's Corner or whatever is in Hyde Park. Listen to this mastery.
Greetings and welcome to Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park Road. We're the 5th number Fido in the series, very thrilling episode in the state of play for the ideological caucus with the views which discussed with the extra-parliamentary parties of that which exist in Britain here today. Now, the programme planners asked me to make very clear in a most understandable and simply termed folder for your eardrums for that joy. Now, what I want to start off with is the great joy of the philosophical thunderbolt insofar as the great caucus of people who's gathering here, and the linguistic fallacy through the epiglottis, and the special people and the Achilles seals, the philolop in the wops there, and the fall in their blood and the skin put around people's shoulders, keep them warm in the winter, because he loved his wife, and kissy cuddly. But the moral of it is the caucus which I want to underline most for you, so gathering together. Now there's another ideological caucus. What about the exploding hut and bomb, the Euromission of thoughts that's blowing the people of Smithereekers in the early morning? All gather up their levers and stuff in the pocket there, and go home and say, oh, all the levers gone, there's nothing left for human coil. Oh.
Absolute genius. And that is our president, by the way. What is so wonderful about that is that I first time I heard it, I fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it. During the course of I won't bore you with things that I did, but similar to this, I was a guest sometimes as sort of an imposter, and I would pretend that I would be doing various things, presenting myself one time as this was very good, as I thought it was good, as a prosecutor from Colombia. And I spoke in a very thick Spanish accent to this kind of a silk stocking group of folks. And anyway, make a long story short, hang on a minute. I spoke and suggested that when I was doing my various rounds as a prosecutor in Medellin, Colombia, to get drug people, I would not be able to signal people, signal the police to move in or the forces, and I would have to come up with a sound that would signal the people to move in, but I couldn't use any hand gestures. I had to make a sound that only people around me would hear, but nobody could notice that I'm making if they're watching binoculars. And I, of course, did this during the course of my speech. And I had the microphone there, and I would talk about this because to me, y si yo cane se no se, to make tu signo de cocaína, traficante. So I basically talked about how I would learn. I said, and because of this, I had to retire early because now I'm unable to control this particular sound by virtue of all of the raids, and I'm heralded as a hero. And these people were looking at me at this lunch. This was like the Palmacia crowd. If you know anything about Tampa, it's this group. They think they're cool, the Gasparilla, Bayshore crowd. And they looked at me and they were horror stricken, absolutely horror stricken. And finally somebody yelled out, "It's a joke." And the exhalation of laughter was almost one of relief. I did a speech one time with the mayor of Tampa, and I'm doing this the whole time. During the whole thing, I said, I'm so sorry. I get a little nervous. And of course, they were just looking at each other like, can this be happening? It never ceases to amaze me. I could have come up with a severed head. They would have said nothing, but that still brings me much, much joy. I'm sorry. You get various different, maybe a basso profundo, as you know, from watching me. So that's part of that. But let's continue, shall we? Continue in this maze, this absolute cacophony of illucidity, where we ask ourselves, where are we? What parallel universe are we living in? And what's also interesting is what I find even most fascinating, or more fascinating, is that the Biden administration seems to care nothing about doing anything to reel back in the perception that it has of being completely and totally lawless. This was a piece from this fellow. You may go crazy with Fauci. I know what Fauci is. The guy that I despise with a passion is Mayorkas. Dig this.
Sir Stephen Miller called today's action, quote, unconstitutional executive amnesty for illegal aliens. Your response, Secretary?
I'll drive right by that. There is very little, if anything, that Stephen Miller says with which I agree.
Now, remember what he does. Watch carefully. The issue is illegal aliens pouring over the illegal aliens pouring over the border. Illegal aliens, criminals, felons, undocumented, you got that? Not your grandma and grandpa, not Ellis Island, none of that. I think we understand what's happening. Now, but Mayorkas will change it as he wears the American flag. As he wears the American flag, and his position is going to be that this is about the Republicans hating the proud and courageous explorer. What were they called it? Barack Obama? Oh, yeah. Dreamers.
He condemns immigrants.
No, we don't. No, he doesn't. Nobody condemns immigrants. You see what he's doing? Never speak the truth. By the way, this is not Saul Alinsky. This is just called lying.
Whether legally here or otherwise.
Whether legally here or otherwise. No. Legal immigrants. Have you ever heard anybody, either in the Trump campaign or anybody that we know, decry just legal immigrants? Have you ever heard that? I haven't.
And so many have contributed so significantly.
Who has? How many of the illegals have contributed significantly, other than in New York, people who deliver stuff to your door.
To the well-being of our country, in terms of local communities, our national economy.
Our national economy. Well, that's maybe true, because they are doing tremendous jobs. However, the money that has been thrown at them has decimated and destroyed local school boards and the like.
We need people who are willing to work hard.
Then let them in legally.
To serve on the front lines.
Trump advised.
Serve on the front lines. The front lines of what? The front lines. You know, there's another thing too, which of course people are very upset about, and that's that Biden is continually and continuously collapsing as far as his involvement with and association with and his connection with the great people of the African American contingent, the African American roles, the African American demographics. And time after time after time, through this wonderful platform of multiplicity of ideas, we hear things like this.
Give a damn about being a convicted felon. I've been around convicted felons my whole life. Trump 2024.
I love that. Love it like you cannot believe. And it's not the only one, by the way, who thinks like that. He's not the only one. Apparently, there's a lot of folks in this country who really seem to like President Trump.
Go after the people who cheated in the election. They only go after the people who report on or question the cheating. If you don't have honest elections and strong borders, you don't have a country. And right now, we don't have a country.
Save America, vote Trump is the cure. Fair election, then you know we win for sure.
Not exactly the greatest musical piece, but there you have it. This is driving them crazy. You see what Trump did? He speaks very, very, very calmly, very specifically. Remember, 3 issues, and that's it. 3 issues, and that is it. Now, here's a story, too, which is one that I don't understand. We often use this term, we're going to take our country back. We're going to take it back. Or there's going to be a revolution. I don't know if it's a revolution, but I don't know if it's a revolution, but it's hard to say what it is. I don't know if this is a revolution. I don't know. I think it's just basically returning us back to normalcy. So you would think, would you not, that the powers that be regarding the Democratic Party would say, whatever we do for the time being, let's make sure we tone down the lunacy, all right? Tone down the lunacy. Let's make sure we don't act crazy because this stuff doesn't work. To which the woke radical left people like Kamala and others, they say, we don't care. Do you think we're done with Dylan McDermott? Do you think we're done with trans stuff? Do you think we're done with, Leah Thomas and all that? Do you think we're done? Oh, no. Now, by the way, I don't know if you saw this. Let me ask you something. What is this? Watch, of course, the unctuous, and look at the first gent, her husband. This guy is so disconnected from this group. It's not even funny. He is I don't want to say beard. That then implies something else, but he's almost like the placeholder husband. Now, look at this person that our friend Kamala Harris is meeting. Who is this individual? And does this particular imagery help or hurt as the elections, which I believe are, let me see, the elections are, 139 days away, okay? 139 days. And who is this person? Oh, wait, any clues? Any idea? Any idea who it is? Anybody? Okay. Wait a minute, hang on. Any clue yet? No? Okay. Get ready. There we go. There we go. How are you? There we go. Isn't that terrific? Doesn't that basically tell the country? Doesn't that say to the country, hey, guess what, folks? Democrats, we're with you. We're with you. We're not some crazy lunatic fringe organization. What are you talking about? We're here for you. We represent what America represents. We represent what you represent. Oh, you want more? Okay.
Hey everyone, to the White House. I'd like to briefly answer some questions. Go ahead, I'm ready.
JVN.
Oh, yes.
Is it true that is all your natural hair?
Yes, I can confirm that this is not a wig.
Follow-up
Thank you so
question.
I can't continue with this only because, first of all, it is almost a parody. Number one. Number two, this is a message to you. I think one would say, I wouldn't say the F word, but kind of like, the hell with you, America. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you think. We don't care anything about your sense of, okay, if this scares you, get used to it. Right now, 139 days until the election, we're doubling down. We haven't learned any election. This is the part you think somebody would say, that's enough. No more. I don't even know the time of this, but this is blowing up on the internet, as it were. Why did they do this? What is the purpose behind this? What? It's absolutely incredible to me. Incredible. And here's the best part. This is not real. This is theater art. This is performance art. This is busking. This is nonsense. This doesn't exist except in the rarefied circles of this group, kind of like the Tony voters. They do this for themselves. In a weird way, they feel. Do you think Joe Biden ever connected with this? Ever? When he and Hillary said, and Bill, when they were against the Defense of Marriage Act, they said marriage is between a man and a woman. Do you think they're buying any of this stuff? Where does this come from? Whose idea said, go ahead, double down on this. Get the guy with the beard and the caftan. Bring him in. Remember the first week, there was that obnoxious person with the fingernails and just running around. And Jen Psaki thought it was so cute. Remember the trans and the non-binaries at the White House? A one woman flashing. They're telling you. Let me just explain this. They're telling you, hey, we don't care what you think. If you think we're doubling down now. Meanwhile, my friends who are Democrats are saying, this isn't helping you at all. This isn't helping you at all. And everything now is exploding. And thank God for Elon Musk, who I think is leading the show. And for the first time now, people are going back and we're talking about vaccines and mandates and Fauci and Wuhan and China. And it's all coming out. Should have come out then. People shut down and shut up. It's let me tell you something. Remember when your mother would say, don't pick at that. Don't pick at that. We're picking at all of these issues today. We're picking at it. And when you stop and think of what happened to us, you got to ask yourself, is it going to happen again? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Have we learned anything? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stand by, dear friends, for 1 second. Stand by for this important message. I say this again because I'm going to show you something which was a piece from 2021. It might have been 3 years ago. It was Miriam Bowser, the mayor of DC, and Fauci walking house to house. And this is one little piece that I ran across, which was fascinating. But first, this. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And what are you going to be doing about it to prepare now? Your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, enjoy their special partner offer. Take $50 off a 4-week or $100 off a 3-month emergency food supply. You decide, but act now. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already, and they're simply the best. These 4-week starter kits provide over 2,000 calories every day, 16 varieties, 25-year shelf life, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, everything, you name it. And they're sealed inside 2 rugged waterproof buckets and over 31 pounds of food. But the best deal, what I recommend, is the 3-month supply. But anyway, it's your choice, but act now. Take advantage now, and preparewithlionel.com is where you should go. Preparewithlionel.com. I find, again, so interesting now how somebody said, okay, you can talk about it now. What? You can talk about Wuhan and China and viruses and vaccines. You can talk about it now. Why? It's okay. What happened? What changed? I don't know. Wait. Why are we talking about this? It's okay. Go ahead. And they bring Fauci out, and Fauci says, I don't care. I made more money than you could ever imagine. So let me say this again to you. All of a sudden, one day they say, it's okay. They just confuse you. Where one day it's almost like, let me explain something to you. Do you remember the line from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where the people who were the inmates who were involved actually could leave anytime they want. They could leave anytime they wanted. And McMurphy said, wait, you mean you can go? And he said, yeah. And here he is trying to bust them out. And they liked it. It's like if you opened up the prison doors, how many people would not leave? How many dogs, if you opened up cages of kennels, they wouldn't leave. They don't look at their cage as a cage. They look at it as home. They don't understand what bars mean. They don't understand how the confiscatory aspects of this is, how it affects their life, how it affects their way of thinking. No, they absolutely, positively, it means nothing. That's how we are. And that's what happened to us. Sad to say. That's what happened to us. We got used to it. We, in a very weird way, we just sort of got used to it. And we just said, okay. And I promise you, tomorrow, if the same thing happened, starting in China, starting in Wuhan, I'm telling you, if they were to repeat everything, America would just do the same thing like it never missed a beat. Think I'm kidding? Think I'm exaggerating? You're McMurphy. I'm McMurphy. We're looking around and we're saying, hey, folks, we're always trying to rouse up the crowds, get them going. They don't want to get going. They're happy the way they are. They're doing great right now. But you say, but we want you to understand. Again, that's okay. What I've shown you up till now, I just want you to understand something. What we're talking about right now, this is just us. This is just us talking. Most Americans don't know anything about this. Now, let me explain this to you. I think this was 2021. Don't hold me to it. But I think this is Muriel Bowser going around with kind of a younger Fauci. And I want you to listen to what this gentleman said then. Listen very, very carefully to what this gentleman said then. And watch Bowser's face This is the mayor of DC. And watch how prescient and how brilliant it was.
America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot on a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay.
Now let me just say something here. This is just some, and I say this with love. This is just some black dude is sitting on his, talking. He doesn't know. He's brilliant. He knows it. They can't believe the resistance, especially Muriel Bowser, because I want you to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are black, remember something. The people who have sold you out more than anybody ain't the white man, but the black man, collectively. Today is Juneteenth. How do you think slavery ever happened without the complicity and the knowing participation and conspiracy of black countries, black leadership, et cetera, et cetera? Do you think you can pull this off? Now, when people come here, it's a different story, obviously. When slaves or anybody who was the subject of subjugation here, that's a different story. But understand, the people who are going to sell you out, who are they? Simple. The Al Sharptons, the Ben Crumps. This is a guy who's always brought in. The next time there's somebody like a George Floyd, look at the con that they sold you with George Floyd. Look at the con. They elevated him. They were wearing kente cloths. They were bowing and taking a knee, except for Jerry Nadler. Elevating through this apotheosis, this beatification, this canonization. Sold like they treat you like children. You don't understand that. But here's the best part. Black America, they've left you behind because they don't want you now. They want the illegals. That's their focus of interest. Now watch this line from Fauci. Fauci says, well, we couldn't do this before, but now we can.
Vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough.
And science. Don't you love this thing called science? Listen, black dude with a cap. I'm Tony Fauci, okay? I'm going to say science, trust fact. Everything was prescient. We saw what was coming. We looked at this and said, okay.
9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
Now listen to this. Listen to this. Remember this? Listen to what people said this. Listen. This is, we've already, everything that's being said right now was debunked. That was known then. This is the part. Let's go back in recent history.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not like
it's much more serious than the flu.
Listen.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Now, let me stop right there. 600,000. You know how many people die every year from cardiac arrest, cardiac problems, heart attacks and the like, coronary artery disease, things that can be prevented with diet and lifestyle? About 750,000. You want to play numbers?
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, it's something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is
Listen to
something
the
going
genius.
on.
Something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But that's, I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
Hand sanitizer.
People in America.
Remember this? Remember, I mean, this was just the other day. Now, by the way, we're still trying to figure out what's happening. We're still trying to figure out what is happening. We're still trying to figure out about gain of function. Ryan says, if Biden is replaced, can you explain the strategic timing? Why wait this long? I don't know. Thank you, Ryan. I don't know. Why even have Biden? Why even have Biden? I have no idea. Raul says, when Trump wins, how will the Democrats react? How do you think? Sorry, this itching is driving me crazy. And not to be untoward or rude, but I don't know. I don't know any of these stories. Why would they ever even want Biden in the first place? He was acting crazy during corn pops. So let me just go back on what's happening again. Every single thing that was said then is being discussed now. It wasn't allowed then, but it's allowed now. What happened? I don't understand it. I don't get it. And all I'm asking is, why? Who writes the rules that says, okay, you can talk about that. Now you can talk about it. Now you can't. There was this time. Remember when Ukraine happened? Ukraine, it was just this absolute insanity for Ukraine. You had to be for it. And just like you would put your little, your "we got our shot" little thumbnail or whatever on Facebook, you had the people were all of a sudden putting. One guy I know had the Ukraine flag backwards, had it upside down. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing? What is this about? Why are you supporting Ukraine? What is it? Well, it's Russia. I said, why is Russia upset? Do you know what Russia said? Why can't Russia join NATO? Russia wanted to join NATO. Isn't the best way to contain Russia by having them in NATO? Doesn't that make sense to you? Or the European Union? No, we don't want you. Why? It's a scam. They have no idea what they're talking about. Let me give you a best one. Going back to this. This is my favorite one. Do you remember? Let me see if I can calm down. Do you remember there was a time when everybody was getting every single app there was? If it's an app, people had it. There was this app. Remember Angry Birds? Angry Birds, it was this wonderful game. Turns out it was a data or some iterations of it was a data capture vehicle of the most it's the most incredible thing anybody's ever even seen. Okay. Lori Lewis, it's her birthday. Hold it. Stop. Wait a minute. Everything else will hold. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you are doing and wish to our dear friend Lori Lewis a happy birthday. How old are you, Missy? What's your birthday? It's a birthday like my Aunt Angie, not Angie. Angie, you say. It's a birthday. I never got that. Birthday. 8th grade. Anyway. Wonderful. Make America great again. And by the way, it's not Lois, it's Lori, but that's okay. Lori Lewis. Bless your heart, Lori Lewis. Happy birthday to you. Well, how old are you? Let's hear the number. We got to hear a number. I'm not going to move on until they hear a number. And don't lie to me. How old are you? Somebody figure this out. I can't wait all day because there's a delay here. Okay. I don't even know where I was before I got into this stuff. So Ukraine. So all of a sudden, there was this Ukraine stuff. I'm saying, what do you think is Russia's beef? What is it? What's Russia's beef? Do you think Russia wants to annex Ukraine? It wants Ukraine? Is that what you think? Is that the story? Are you listening to what's going on? Gwigg says, yesterday watching Fulton County RICO gang trial, the judge, one half of the 27 attorneys, defendants, and the witnesses were wearing masks because of COVID. Oh, dear God. That's another one, too. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. By the way, never ask a woman what her age is. How old are you? I'm going to ask you. There's nothing wrong with age. And the best way to get rid of this age thing is to ask you. Sky Low Low, one of the greatest little people wrestlers of all time. And Little Beaver. Sky Low Low and Little Beaver was the other one, too. All right. So anyway, so then they said, nobody talk about this. Remember, they dragged that guy with a dirty green T-shirt in, this actor, this wannabe, who played the piano with his accoutrement. This was serious stuff, and we were schmucks. We had no idea, none. Oh, Lori's 56. You're a baby. Good for you, Lori. Say it proud. You're 56. Say it loud. You worked hard to get to this number because the alternative stinks. So anyway, now they said, nobody talk about Ukraine. Now they're talking about Ukraine. Then they want to tell you don't talk about Israel. Why? Because you're an anti-Semitic. I'm not an anti-Semite. What are you talking about? I'm reading this all the time. You've got to accept the Israel package. Here it is. Take it. Take BB's version of it and shut up. Don't ask questions. It's not genocide. It's not apartheid. It's not ethnic cleansing. It's nothing. It's Hamas. It's Hamas. Everything's Hamas. That's it. Stop it. If there's kids killed, Hamas. If their universities destroyed, it's Hamas. It's their fault. Read the package. Read the information. It's their fault. They asked for this. Come on. October the 7th, they asked for this. And don't tell us that we knew what was going on. And don't tell us. This thing is just, and the best part is most people in this country don't know anything about it. They don't know anything about it. It's incredible. And you are not going to believe what you see until the moment BB comes, and they're going to, he won't be able to speak. You will hear standing ovations from a foreign leader, just like they did Zelensky. I didn't recognize this place. Do you want that? And President Trump, I know you've always been a staunch, you've been a close friend of Israel, and that's fine, and that's groovy, and all that stuff, moving and embassies and everything. But do yourself a favor. Disentangle and renounce the horrible words of Jared Kushner, who said, there's a lovely waterfront property in Gaza. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I can't believe this. That's coming to a head, my friends. That is coming to a head. And most people in this country still have no earthly idea. And another thing, too, is they're unable to differentiate the issues. For example, anybody who accosts people in the subway for anything because of who are claimed to be Zionists, radical anti-Israelis, radical PETAs, criminals, anybody who bothers or makes Americans feel scared in the subway, I denounce 100%. You got that? That has nothing to do with the issue over here. So let me ask you something. What's going on here? They're going to be talking about 9/11 pretty soon? Who's in charge? Is this a trap? Howard Schoonover says everybody's picking on Chomsky today because of the false rumor of his passing, but he has always been my hero. Schoonover, I got to tell you something. There's one thing about Chomsky, and one reason why he is a hero of mine. He spoke up. There are people who spoke up. There are people years ago, Jermaine Greer, remember that? Angela Davis, Abby Hoffman. They speak up. Gloria Steinem, she spoke up. Now, granted, there's all kinds of CIA stuff too, but anybody who stands up, it doesn't matter. Madeleine Murray O'Hair, oh my God. To be an atheist then? Father Coughlin, left, right, doesn't matter. And Noam Chomsky has said so much. He has said some of the most brilliant stuff ever. I don't know what you're an anarcho-syndicalist. If you don't see, but anyway, so it's so funny. He writes his book about the mendacity of the media, and we're not even sure whether he had a stroke, apparently. So we're not really sure whether he's alive or dead, and the viciousness about it. Because what happens is when people hide behind a computer screen, their toughness comes out, and they want to see how vicious can you be behind the screen. They've never done anything in real life. And if you don't get that, by the way, that's how you can tell how important you are, by the horrors that are leveled your way. So I don't want to spend too much time. I'm not going to be able to get this country great again and all this. But I want it greater than it is now. I want it improved. I want a little bit of it improved. That's all I can say. I don't know how to make it any other clearer than that. This is a very weird time we're in right now. A very weird time, a very scary time. And if it's a little bit better, that's it. But the biggest problem I have is to try to tell you something. And listen, what we're doing, if you're watching me right now, we are the minority of the minority of the minority. Nobody cares about this. People don't. Every now and then, sometimes I see, and social media is just this wonderful insight. And I'll look and see, what is it? Like, we know people who are some kids. We don't see a lot of kids, and thank God for they're going to have warning labels on social media. But I see people who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and what they think is important on their social media. And some people I know, Twitter's a little bit different. Twitter is stories and importance, and it tends to be more news centered. Yeah, it's got its little bit of narcissism. Instagram is just another story altogether. That is la la land. I got Instagram and Facebook. I put up a picture that was from it was a news story of the Hunter Biden, one of his pictures where he's wearing his Speedo with his thing. It's from the news. And twice I think it was because, I'm not sure, Facebook says you publish something which goes against community standards. I think it was that. It's a news story. Instagram, even worse. You can't put this. It's Hunter Biden. It's in the news. They're giving me a warning. They took down something that's in the news. Yeah, but kids can buy drugs. That's okay. Think about this. This is nuts. So that's why I want to go back to what I said before. Why is it that now people are talking about the vaccine, talking about everything? Why now? What happened? Who said, okay, it's all right? You may not remember this, but being a student of the medium of 60s TV, Archie Bunker used the word crapola. And that was like, wow. 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 And then it became crap. One time we were watching Green Acres Green Acres. And Sam Drucker, Frank Cady, by the way, said dag nabbit. I don't even know what that means. Dag, dang, all that stuff. Everybody around us thought, did he say God damn it? I remember as a kid saying, did Sam Drucker, Mr. Drucker, did he say that? This was a big deal. No, he said dag nabbit. What the hell's dag nabbit? Well, it's kind of like it's done like that in order to sound like it. Well, why don't they say it? If you know what it is, you're saying, well, it's like the N word. We know what the N word is. Well, then say it. No, you can't. You say the N word. But I know what you're talking about. It's At one time I was on the radio and I did a bunch of ethnic jokes, quote unquote. And I used the word Alsatian for Polish or Jewish or Italian or black or whatever the subject matter was. And the joke was just as funny because the joke made sense and people were laughing even though they knew what I was talking about. That was okay. I never understood that. Having an N, how was it? How there was a there was having the asterisk. One time I did a piece on, I got to be careful, a certain person who was held in federal custody, who perhaps might have been dispatched and allegedly he was offed by virtue of, dare I say, self-harm. The particular platform at the time not only forbade it for purposes of, monetizing and all this stuff, but I got these notices back saying, "Are you okay? Are you contemplating this?" Why? Because of the subject matter. I say, "No, it's in the news," and I got this news piece from a news story that you had no problem with. But if I talk about, anyway, it makes no sense. That's why algorithms make no sense. Here's one for you. Years ago, there was this, you don't remember this, but I do. Late at night, there was this thing that came on it was breast self-examination. And there was a woman, and it was kind of like a foggy lens. I remember my mother and I were laughing like hell. I was like, "It's on!" We were, we watched this, and it'd be like Clark Terry, kind of quiet in the background. And she, "Make sure you have a nice, comfortable place." She's sitting in front of her little drawing room, and she's got like a negligee on, and she drops it. You don't see anything, you see her back. Rub to the left. I mean, this is. We were laughing because how is this allowed? We didn't see anything, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, fine. Do you know that later on, when they use these weird kind of algorithms, this was spotted as being, quote, pornographic because it dealt with the subject matter, even though it was instructing women how to save their lives? I mean, it's nuts. I don't know when you can talk it. So I'm watching Tucker with great. Tucker wants to talk about all kinds of stuff. You want to talk about 9/11? Go ahead, Tiger. Go ahead. Let me know if you have any help with that one. Good luck with that one. I've been through that one. Been through that. Been through all this. I don't even know what's being okayed and what's not. I'm not really sure. But don't think for a moment the coast is clear. No way. Absolutely not. You're being lulled in. Remember Iwo Jima? The Japanese waited until we were on the island and waited and moving up, and then they attacked. Lull you in. Most people don't care about anything that we're talking about. Do you understand this? I wish I could show you this. I've got a couple. All they do is they just send, they just have pictures of people and they'll, it can be anybody. I forget who was it the other day. There was somebody like, I'm trying to think. Like somebody like Monica Crowley. Look, I got a picture next to Monica. So what? See? What does that mean? That's as close as they got to the Republican Party. The issues was a picture. And here we are. And I'm eating. That's it. I'm thinking that's all you want is just a picture, just standing next to somebody. The only time I ever got a selfie of any sort, which I was very, very proud about, and Mrs. L will tell you, was I saw E.O. Wilson, the famous entomologist, ant expert, is at LaGuardia, not LaGuardia, but this outpost, this weird thing. And I, honest to God, was so, he was like a hero of mine. I told you, George Jones, him, So anyway, what I'm trying to say in this perhaps this most elliptical, admittedly desultory way is we're the minority here. Most people don't know anything about what we're talking about. Anything you see about Wuhan, anything you see about Ukraine, anything you see about Israel, they have no earthly idea. Do you have any clue as to how some of the horrific claims of October the 7th have been not only debunked, but just, if not challenged? There goes almost the narrative. I'm not trying to say it never happened. It was a horrible event. It's a terrorist event by definition. Nobody knows nuance. Nobody understands any of this. This is the biggest issue that's affecting the world. The world is focusing, and Americans don't. Never comes up. Nothing. We'll talk about Rachel Maddow on The View. Things are just, this is as good as it. This is it. Another person claims that Trump, a behind the scene thing. Melania said, it's like the most childish stuff I've ever seen. And this is from news organizations. We can't make America great again if they don't know anything. And in New York, the story of stories is how, quote, they call them vigilantes, I think proud and brave and great New Yorkers, came out in droves to stop this vermin who attacked 2 little girls. And it was, to me, a wonderful moment. A wonderful moment. And I did a brand new video, which is dropping later on, but it was a brand new moment where people are suggesting and people are saying something very, very important. What they're saying is, maybe we should pay people. Let's have a bounty. Hey folks, we're looking for this guy. We'll give you $10,000. Okay, find him. Because what I'm trying to tell you is a piece of information which is so critical and so important, which is missed totally. And before I tell you what that is, I want you to listen to this. All right, dear friends, it's time yet again to hail and salute our great friends at MyPillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know, a free gift. It's a tautology. So sue me. But first, listen. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Listen to this. Premium MyPillows, King and Queen, MyPillow 2.0, MyPillow bed sheets, the lowest prices ever, sandals, slides, and slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets, simply and absolutely the best. It is unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike answers the phone. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, simply the best, simply and absolutely the best. This is what you've got to understand. You are the boss. You, not the government, not the police, not Merrick Garland, or not the DOJ, not the FBI, not the CIA or NSA. You are the boss. We are the people. We decided a while back it might be a good idea to seek some help from some folks. And we'll have a thing called the police department. And the police department came around mid-19th century. And there were marshals, and there was kind of like, border federal, but it was still the cops as we know it. It's a fairly new kind of a thing. Okay, great. So all of the stuff that came about was basically an extension of one of the basic facts, one of the basic realities is that it is our country, our city. And what I've wanted to see for the longest time is to see folks driving around and having neighborhood watch, neighborhood patrols, neighborhood sentries, and people on their own. And what happened was, whenever you do that, the police say, "Oh, no, 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 no." Now, wait a minute. I saw something interesting. When everybody was worried about, God forbid, trouble at college campuses during the sit-ins, I guess the Palestinian protest is over. Well, I saw more cops than I ever saw in my life. So where have they been? I saw siege trucks. I saw equipment I never even knew about. It was the most incredible thing in the world. Where did that come from? I don't know, but it came out of nowhere. It was incredible. Why? Because that was important. Now they're back. Now I get to see people standing around, fat police officers, talking on their phone, covered in tattoos, just sitting around saying, well, no, no, no. I want to get those others. Who are these people? No, no, you can make these people crossing guards or something. I want to see these real tough. I want them on the streets. No, 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 that's not for you. Why? That's for the anti-Israel protest. What? Yeah, that's for them. We take them to Columbia University or whatever it is. But now that they stopped the anti-Israel, wait a minute, you think this is anti-Israel? It wasn't pro-Palestine? No, it's anti-Israel. Now that the anti-Israel protest is over, those police, we don't know where they are. They're back on doing whatever it is they do. No, no, I want them back. No, no. Well, you know what? We're going to fire you then. We have an area here in this city right around Herald Square, Midtown, Times Square. They call it, what do they call it? The grid or whatever it is. All these people are just the corridor. They're shooting up. And I would do this. I would drive up, have big vans or buses, pick them up, throw them in. Come on, let's go. Take your stuff, this filthy, blood-soaked, hazardous, whatever these cardboard, and incinerate them. Maybe have a portable kind of like an incineration, just throw all of their stuff in there because it's filthy and it's infectious and it's a health hazard. I take all these people, throw them in these trucks, and we take them to some field and they're processed. They can go through detox, do whatever you want. And it's not to treat them. I don't care about their treating. It's to get them off the street because you can't do that. You can't sit around wallowing in your own waste if you're under the influence of Trank, Kush, xylazine, meth. I don't care. You can't do this. The motivation behind your problem is irrelevant to me. I don't care why you're there. I don't care. Let me say this again. I don't care why you're there. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care what brought you there. I don't care what dependency. It doesn't matter to me. I'm the government. I'm not a social worker. I'm not here to help you. I don't know where you got that from. We don't have time for this. Don't have enough money because our money is going to trying to maintain some kind of equanimity due to this vermin that's pouring over our borders. Don't have time for you. I'm going to put that money into schools, that money into infrastructure, so we can get rid of all this congestion pricing nonsense. Oh, it's over. Then after everybody's off the street, I'm going to bring in big water cannons saturated with a substance of disinfectant and antibacterial and spray everything just like a tsunami. And that's it. And we take these people and we put them and say, you're being charged with, and what's your name? We know where you are. You're being charged with whatever it is. Public intoxication, disturbing the peace, whatever it is. And then you're moved. That's it. And you know what? They go away. And if they move someplace else, pick them up again. That's it. Pick them up. Have one unit. And pretty soon they say, New York City is not the place to do this. We'll go to Trenton. We'll go to Hohokus. I don't care. Get out of here. Period. End of discussion. That's that. We also have this thing. I don't know if you have it in your city. We have these fake license tags. Paper. Do you have that? Today I had to have the Yugo. It's a stretch. You had to get the annual inspection sticker. Here's my license. Here's my registration. Here's my thing. These people are driving around with this paper. They go to FedEx. I think they have, I don't know. It just has a number on it. Doesn't even have it's just a paper. They go to make a copy of it. And they're driving around. It doesn't have a state. Doesn't say dealers. It says nothing. Have you seen this? What is this? Lock these people up. Pull them over. Confiscate their cars. That's it. You can't drive around with a paper plate. You can't. No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I can't be any clearer than that. You want to make America great again? Just make it great. The hell with this again biz. I don't care about that. This is ridiculous. So we need these people called either vigilantes. We need people on the street who are able to say, I'm not asking you permission. If that's the guy we see him, we're going to go. We'll wait for you to process him. We don't have a jail. You have the jail. And that's it. And I want there to be an attitude of New York is not the city to do this in. These people are crazy. They will stop you. They will come after you. They have apps and there's all kinds of bounties. And I love it. Why? Because we are the repository of all the power, of all the authority, of all the jurisdiction. We are. We don't have to ask permission if we don't like you. Now, I don't think there should be, public, floggings. No. But the idea that we got to sit back and say, please, would you do something? I'm sorry. Hey, Mr. Police Officer, you're sitting around with your fat stomach hanging over your gun belt as you hold your hat, talking on a phone, and there's all these people being threatened. What exactly are you doing? Well, I want those people we saw when the anti-Israel protests went about. Where are they? Are you sick of it? I'm sick of it. I don't know who's in charge of any of this stuff. I don't know. But I want it fixed, and I want it fixed now. And that's it. You understand this? I want that. And I don't care about Rachel Maddow. I don't care about The View. I don't care about whatever it is. And Brianna Joy Gray, that's terrific. I know she was fired. She was fired from The Rising. Okay. Great. Because of her issues. Okay, great. That's how many times are you going to milk that? When did you get the memo? Why did they spell your name wrong? Okay, that's great. Let's move on. Let's move on to something else. Let's not keep talking about this. That's believe me, nobody in Palestine, nobody in Gaza, nobody at the Philadelphia corridor is saying, did you hear about Brianna Joy Gray? No, and we think we've got it bad. They fired her from The Rising. What about Robbie? Well, they kept Robbie. What is this? It's not interesting anymore. You've said enough. Move on. Talk about the issue. Talk about what matters. Talk about what matters. Okay? That's all. That's all. Now, the good news is, my friends, I want to thank you for who you are and what you believe you are. Howard Schoonover, thank you. Lori Lewis, the birthday girl, birthday. Happy birthday to you. Gwig, we thank you. Raul Rodriguez and Ryan, God bless you. Remember, first and foremost, you are family. I want to thank you for being a part of this. Thank you. And also, please, this is Mrs. L's. I want you to go to Lynn's Warriors and follow her immediately. Click this link right now, Lynn's Warriors on YouTube, and sign up for her channel. You'd be surprised what she writes and comments on, and then it's in the news. It's the most incredible thing you've ever seen. Anyway, by the way, Lionel Nation members, got a drop coming up. Got a whole bunch of stuff I'm putting out today. And happy Juneteenth Day. And good. Slavery is a bad thing. It's horrible. It's a blight on humanity. And it's going on today as we speak. And it's called human trafficking and child predation. Right here in River City. Don't ever forget that. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And see you later on tonight at 7 p.m. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.